Daily chances for thunderstorms, some of which are going to be rowdy. Let's talk about just how much hail Mama Nature wants to throw out at Texas in this Wednesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Well, hey, good morning. It is Wednesday, the 24th of April, 2024. 14 years ago today, I almost got ran over by an EF4 tornado in Mississippi. That's not going to be an issue today, I assure you. I had hair back then, too. Clearly, that has changed quite a bit as well. I was actually a senior in high school, a couple weeks from graduation. Anyway, enough reminiscing. I'm sure most of you don't care about that. What we are going to be dealing with in Texas over the next few days are daily chances for thunderstorms for some folks. Most folks, not going to see a thing, except warm weather, gusty winds, the potential for either increasing humidity or wildfire danger, depending on which side of the dry line you're going to be on. Let's just get into it. We'll start off with the severe weather outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. Now, yesterday I kind of went off the rails and kind of went back and forth. Well, today we're just going to try to do this in a somewhat more organized fashion, starting with today. Now, yesterday I mentioned today's chance for thunderstorms looked lower because of a stronger capping inversion. Thus, I was hoping, since I have travel plans, that we would be A-OK. Well, Mother Nature rarely cooperates with my plans, and thus things have changed a little bit for today. Storms that fired up yesterday in portions of West Texas and the Big Country have left an outflow boundary. That outflow boundary will be in portions of West Texas, the Permian Basin. Let's just say between Lubbock, Midland, east towards Sweetwater and Abilene. In addition, the dry line remains in almost the same location it was yesterday, a little bit more moisture today compared to yesterday. And that'll set the stage for probably, with enough daytime heating, we're probably going to see another round of isolated to widely scattered severe thunderstorms develop late this afternoon into the middle part of this evening. Now, yesterday, storms actually did get going a couple hours earlier than we thought they would. We were thinking about 4 to 5 p.m. They got going about 2 to 3 p.m. So the graphic timing says 4 p.m., hopefully, with some luck and a little bit of cooperation from Mama Nature, things will actually stay in our time window this time, but it is entirely possible we could see the first isolated storms developing between 2 and 3 p.m. Storms would move off to the east, northeast initially, probably turning more easterly, maybe southeasterly with time this evening. Now, like yesterday, the main hazards will be large hail up to the size of tennis balls, localized damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. However, unlike yesterday, we're going to have a little bit more moisture today. That's going to let cloud bases be lower comparatively, and we're going to have a decent amount of low-level wind shear potentially, and that outflow boundary may also act as a small corridor of enhanced low-level wind shear. Thus, unlike yesterday, we may have to deal with a very low to low tornado threat between about, let's just say 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Is that a guarantee? No. Is it a possibility? Yes. And since I'm supposed to be on a plane this afternoon and evening, flying across the country back home to deal with severe weather chances in the studio beginning tomorrow through, early next week, Mother Nature is undoubtedly going to make something quite complicated to where I'm going to have to try to cover severe weather while sitting at 36,000 feet in a rather cramped passenger chair. Doesn't that sound like fun? Yeah, it sounds like fun. All right, let's take a look at tomorrow's severe weather outlook. This will be for Thursday, the 25th of April. I turned myself off instead of the graphic. 2024. Now, we had a special outlook issued yesterday afternoon that increased the risk level for the eastern Texas panhandle. This is not a surefire severe weather day tomorrow. I want to make that clear. There's some caveats here that could break or make for a busy severe weather day. Regardless, the potential for scattered severe thunderstorms. The eastern Texas panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, the Permian Basin, Big Country, Concho Valley, Western Texoma, Western North Texas, with the highest potential for significant severe storms with a possible tornado threat in the eastern Texas panhandle. If we have discrete supercell development tomorrow afternoon, early tomorrow evening. Some data says yes, some data says no, we're not going to have enough lift to break through the cap. If storms go between, well, let's do this. We're going to have two possible rounds of storms here. Round one, conditional on the cap breaking, between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Panhandle, West Texas, Permian Basin, east of the dryline. Farther north you go, the more likely it is we're going to see the cap break initially. Supercell storms likely. All modes of severe weather. Baseball to softball size hail, wind gusts 60 to 80 miles an hour, the potential for a few tornadoes. And given the expectation of strong low-level wind shear, if we're dealing with a tornado threat tomorrow in the Panhandle, we could be dealing with some stronger tornadoes. If we deal with tornadoes at all, and that's also dependent on if we have storms develop at all. Clearly, if we have no storms, we're not going to be dealing with spinny doom. This is one of these conditional threats, and the threat actually goes up farther up into Kansas. So this is going to be something we watch closely. Now, we may have fewer storms tomorrow afternoon, if they develop at all, on the dry line, West Texas, Permian Basin, but those storms, if they go, they're going to be supercells dropping baseball to softball size hail, damaging winds, the potential for a tornado or two, though the higher tornado threat would be up in the eastern Panhandle, western Oklahoma, southern Kansas. Round two, and this one does look more likely. A broken to nearly solid line of storms develops late Thursday evening after 9 to 10, maybe 11 p.m. east of the dry line as the main upper level lift actually arrives fully. That'll spark off a line of storms, which will then have the potential of hail, damaging winds, maybe a brief tornado or two. That line of storms is going to move east into northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, Texoma, North Texas, late Thursday night through the morning hours on Friday, which takes us into Friday's severe weather outlook. Now, like Thursday, we're going to have two rounds of possible storms here. Round one is going to be ongoing Friday morning. That is where this scattered severe weather threat is for. We could still have some of these storms in the squall line still producing hail and damaging winds as they approach Interstate 35 around sunrise Friday. We'll refine that timing tomorrow. That line of storms probably weakening a bit as it moves into the Arklatex, East Texas, but once we get past 10, 11 a.m., those storms could become more ambitious, more rowdy again as we get more daytime heating. Hail, gusty winds. Now, here's where round two could come in. Depending on the timing of those storms in northeast Texas, Texoma, getting out of here, we could see new storms develop off the dry line, isolated severe storms late Friday afternoon into early Friday evening across Texoma, North Texas. Truthfully, we could see one or two storms across the Hill Country, Central Texas, the Edwards Plateau. While the risk zones look different here simply because these risk levels are based off the chance of severe weather within 25 miles of your location, the lower risk zones mean the less chance you have a storm nearby. The hazards are the same. A storm over Junction and San Antonio would probably be capable of producing the same severe weather hazards as one over DFW Friday afternoon. Big hail, damaging winds. Can't rule out a tornado threat, especially across the northern half of this risk zone. North Texas, Texoma, the Arklatex. Some model data suggests we may see some increased low-level wind shear. All being said, let's get past today. Let me go fly across the country tonight, get hardly any sleep, and do a video for y'all tomorrow morning that better explains the timing and potential scenarios for Friday, because that will depend on what happens tomorrow. But the dry line is going to fly east on Friday, leaving, the western two-thirds of Texas in what we call the dry sector, or very dry air, very warm air, higher fire danger, blowing dust. All right, here's the high-res rapid refresh model for today, tonight, into tomorrow morning. You can see this model does develop a few thunderstorms now west Texas, moving into portions of northwest Texas, the Big Country late this afternoon, early this evening. The potential for hail, tennis balls, damaging straight line winds, maybe a tornado or two. Those storms are gone by 11 o'clock. This morning, isolated spotty showers eastern half of the state, drizzle, low clouds, it's humid. Same thing tomorrow morning. It's going to be windy. It's going to be windy the next few days. That's about the best descriptor I can give of that. And then as we get into portions of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, Monday, chance for some storms. All right, let's look at the wildfire outlook real quick from the Texas A&M Forest Service. This is for today, Thursday, Friday. Today, moderate fire danger, western half of the state, southeast Texas down to the Rio Grande Valley. High wildfire danger, the borderland, the Big Bend, the Trans-Pecos, borderland being El Paso, far west Texas. Tomorrow, very high wildfire danger, the borderland, the Trans-Pecos, Davis Guadalupe Mountains, the Big Bend, western Texas Panhandle, West Texas, west of the dryline, probably west of Interstate 27, west of Highway 87. The dryline moves way farther east on Friday. It's going to be windy. It's going to be hot. We're going to have blowing dust. High to very high wildfire danger, western half of the state on Friday, excluding areas that may have gotten wetting rainfall the last few days. So there you go. West of the dryline, you get wildfire danger, hot, windy, blowing dust. East of the dry line, you get warm, humid, windy, maybe some stormies. All right, let's take a look at the GFS, the Global Forecast System, and this is just to show what we think may happen. You can see Thursday, this model really doesn't develop anything until late Thursday evening, moves storms into North Texas, Texoma Friday morning, has isolated scattered activity across East Texas, Northeast Texas Friday morning, new storms Friday afternoon, Friday evening. That moves out. Saturday, severe weather likely across Kansas, Oklahoma, perhaps into Northwest Texas, Texoma, North Texas. This could be a busy severe weather day. Line of storms Saturday night into Sunday morning, moving across, let's just right now say the eastern half of the state. We'll refine that as we get closer, and this is all in association with multiple upper-level storm systems, which is going to make it windy across, well, a good chunk of the country, really, over the next few days. So, yeah, busy. Busy. All right, temperatures. Here we go. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Today's high temperatures, cooler in the Panhandle, 60s, 70s north of a boundary. That boundary setting up in the Permian Basin, the big country, will be a focal point for storm development this afternoon. Otherwise, highs in the 80s to 90s across the state. Tomorrow, much warmer in the Panhandle. Everyone else, almost the same as today, maybe a degree or two warmer. 80s, 90s. It's warm. Friday, we're going to see the dry line move east, high temperatures upper 80s, west of Interstate 35 in Texas, east of Interstate 35 looking at upper 70s, lower 80s, but it's also more humid. Heat index, yay, 90s to near 100 degrees, Edwards Plateau, Rio Grande Plains. Saturday, we are going to be in the triple digits in the Edwards Plateau, the Rio Grande Plains, probably 100 to 105. It's going to be warmer across pretty much the entire state, looking at low to upper 80s with some 90s here and there. Borderland El Paso, y'all actually might be the coolest spot in Texas on Saturday afternoon with a high of 76. Sunday, El Paso's back up to 80. We're looking at 90s to lower triple digits. Rio Grande Plains, Rio Grande Valley, Edwards Plateau, Deep South Texas, upper 80s. Golden Triangle, Southeast Texas, Brazos Valley, all the way back in the Concho Valley. Pretty much the only ones who won't be in the 80s, the Panhandle, West Texas, the higher terrain of the Davis Guadalupe Mountains. Y'all are going to be in the 70s. And I mean, I guess technically the immediate Gulf Coast might be in the upper 70s as well, but the Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures, they're already hotter than a hot dog, which is going to lead to problems come hurricane season, which, P.S., starts in a few weeks. Isn't that something fun to look forward to? We think it's going to be really busy this year. Not thrilled about that. All right, that's going to be it for your Texas Weather Roundup on this Wednesday. This is a long video. Oops. Okay, so, yeah, travel plans. I'm going to be on a plane late this afternoon, this evening. I'm flying home from visiting family on the East Coast, which means I got to fly, connect somewhere, and then get to my final destination at like 11 p.m. this evening, which means probably closer to 12:30 a.m., and then I have to still drive a little bit from there. So if we have spinny doom issues today, do not expect live coverage. I'm not real happy about that, but at the same time, I'd rather be home and ready to do said live coverage tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I picked a day. It looked relatively tranquil in comparison. We'll see if that was a good call or not. Mama Nature probably going to be like, So, with that being said, we will have storm chasers out and about today. If it looks like we're going to have storm initiation, they will have live streams up. You'll be able to watch that on the Texas Storm Chasers YouTube channel, website, and of course in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, where you can also get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radars, live severe weather coverage when Baldyinchief isn't on a plane at 36,000 feet, and of course, these daily Texas weather roundups. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. Thank you to all those who have been hitting that thumbs up button and subscribe on YouTube. It really helps us here at the Texas Weather Center get out to the masses because that's what the happy algorithm likes. All right, plan is for a weather update as usual. Thursday morning, I will be back, hopefully, in my comfy chair. Until then, we'll keep an eye on things. Y'all make it a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you later. God bless.